Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Sacred Exchange, where souls meet, hearts transform, and love leads the way. I'm Catherine.
And I'm John.
And we are here to talk today about security and trust.
Security and trust, yes.
It was really interesting this past week. We had, 15 different experiences that were showing up. And we were like, what is going on here? And ultimately, I think it started on Tuesday that we started to unravel from it, where I said to you, I'm feeling a little bit anxious.
Yeah, I think we named it, right? Like, all these little events, but then it was like all of them had this undertone.
Yes. Yes. So I had said to him, I've been feeling kind of anxious today. Don't really know what it's about, but I've got this anxiety that's sitting in my heart. And typically I'll do like a kind of breath to like dissipate whatever anxiety I'm feeling. But this time it was like, it didn't matter how much I was doing it. It just wasn't going away. And then you had said that you were also feeling a little bit insecure about some things that were coming up for you.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, well, this is interesting. And then I think it was like 3 hours later, because we were laying in bed. And then suddenly it was like this light bulb moment of every single experience.
This, and this, and this, and this. And they all chalk up to this.
Yes. And it was all about security. And looking at, and for some of it, it was like about job security or relationship security, or literally talking about a security guard.
Yeah. Well, and the security, where we were talking about the status of the world and its security, and there was different events that had come up. Well, the Louvre was another one that we talked about, right? And then
because I was really interested in the whole Louvre, like the security that got broken and all these diamonds and jewels and stuff that were stolen.
The AWS thing that could have been a security breach or whatever.
Yes.
There was a number of, it was like boom, 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 all these little things. And it was just like,
what is the pattern here? Yeah. Like, why are we both noticing this so much? And I think it was at that point that I Googled, what is the origin of the word security? And it came down to be without fear or anxiety. Mm-hmm. And what was interesting to me about reading that was understanding that as I was kind of tuning into this energy around anxiety and fear and stuff, and I was feeling it in my body, it's that energy that means I'm not trusting the plan that's unfolding right now, or I'm not trusting that everything's going to be okay. So as much as I can go, my mind believes everything's going to be okay, there's something happening in my body right now that is saying I don't actually trust in this.
Well, and I think that's part of what our conversation was, right? It was all of these things pointing to this and had us both, and not that like all of these things really affected us.
I know they were like on the outside, but we were both feeling the energy of it.
Yeah. And because we always, I think that's where we went, was talking about trusting in the plan. This is, it was designed to be this way, but it's still uneasy.
Yeah.
It's still like, okay, this is the way it's supposed to be. And that's the other point, is we were looking for what is this, right?
Yeah.
What is this pointing towards? What is this telling us? What is this? And it was just, okay, let's just not try to figure it out. Let's just be aware. Let's just be aware that there's something to do with security in this field at this point in time.
Yeah, and I really took it in as like a message of, this is an opportunity to exercise my trust that everything's just going to be okay, that everything is just going to be aligned. And even in this discomfort that I was feeling, or in these uncomfortable things that I was witnessing out in the world, that it's like, this too is a part of this divine plan.
Yeah.
And it's so hard at times to like be human and trust in a divine plan, because sometimes the divine plan is just like,
Yeah. Well, you can be not happy with it, but it's still the plan, right?
I know, but it's just like when things bring up like uncomfortable emotions or like it's hard to witness and it's heartbreaking to witness and all of this, I think that's like what a lot of people end up going, well, this can't be a part of the divine plan.
How can somebody, you know, how can God want this to be part of the plan? Mm-hmm. And it's like, well...
And I think one of the
you're
things...
not seeing the full picture, though.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. And I think one of the... I don't know if I'm right on this or not. This is just what resonates with me. But to me, it's like God has a plan for everything that happens. So humans, in our own brokenness and in our own wounds and stuff, we make choices that are not necessarily aligned with what, say, God would choose for us, right? We might say lie, right? But God has a plan for that moment that we lie. You know, it's not that God's going, yes, I'm going to make Catherine lie. No, that's my free will. If I want to lie, I can lie. But God's like, I've got a plan for you, even if you do that.
Yeah.
You know, that it's going to ultimately bring us back to that light. But we have free will to choose along the way. And there's just like a plan for each of it.
Yeah. And I know we've talked about this quite a few times about free will, and I don't know that I actually believe that there's free will.
Okay.
I agree with what you're saying. Like, it is, okay, here you are on this precipice. You're this dot. And you've got these million different choices you can make. And they're all going to lead to different roads and different journeys and all that kind of thing. And they're all planned out.
Yeah.
And they're all leading to, and you may take a longer way to get to this part of the plan, but that was still part of the plan.
Well, and that's where I can go. It's all divinely planned out, because it's like, oh, if you decide to lie, this is what the plan's going to be. And if you decide that you're going to cheat, then this is what the plan's going to be. And if you decide you're going to act from love, then this is what the plan's going to be. And they're all going to get you to that point, but there's a plan for each of it. It's kind of like those choose your own adventure books from when you were a kid, where it's like you flip to this page, you flip to this page, you flip to this page.
Yeah, and hence that's where I sit on the fence with free will, because it's not really free will. They're all out there. They're all things. Yeah. They're all laid out in front of you. Yeah. And it's, yes, the choice of going that road, but you're not really, do you know what I mean? Like, you're choosing to lie, or you're choosing to have, I don't know, coffee or whatever, but are you? You know, it was all of these things, all of these different things in your life that led you to this point to make this decision to have coffee or to do whatever you're going to do. Yeah. Is that yours, or is that coming from somewhere else?
It's a good... Yeah. Because I'm like, you're right. Because all of the information that we've received already would be influencing the moment that we're in right now. And yet, it's also whatever information we've received that we've willingly retained, which might be the free will part of, yes, I'm going to believe this is true, and no, I'm not going to believe this is true, to make the choice that I'm making right now in this moment. Yeah. But I think that's the idea of, like, you know, we talk about our specialness. Yes. Yeah. You know, and I question if it's my own specialness. It's like, no, we actually still have free will. Do you know what I mean? Instead of like it actually being like, is it divinity
Well, it's so hard to fathom that, right? It's like, no, I own this. Yeah, this is my life. This is my life. This is my journey. I decide. And it's like, okay, but you didn't make this. Like, you know, we can't recreate this perfect machine. Yeah. And this perfect machine has a perfect path. Yeah. We didn't design any of that. Yeah. We're just participants in it. Yeah. But it's so hard to think, like...
To remove yourself completely and go, right, I'm just the soul that's in this vessel. Yeah. Expressing as I need to express and witnessing as I need to witness. And follow the divine plan that's unfolding for me, because I like go to, like, you know, I really enjoy Derek Rydell's work. Yeah. And he often talks about, you know, the divine blueprint of an acorn is going to be to become an oak tree, you know. Yeah. And it doesn't matter if the acorn believes it or not. It's like your life is just going to unfold, and you're going to, break apart the seed, and you're going to grow roots, and you're going to shoot up, and you're going to become an oak tree. That's just what you're here to do.
You think the oak tree's like, man, I wanted to be a frog.
I know, right?
What happened here?
Like, where's my free will?
I envisioned it. I manifested this, and
it's
I was green for a while.
I was green for a while. I thought I was going to become a frog. Yeah. But it's so interesting because with nature, you get to watch nature just become what nature becomes, right?
Well, nature doesn't question.
And that's where us humans, we get a little bit more complicated because we question it. And even like when we're on purpose and when we're following those callings, we're still not trusting necessarily that this is what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
What if I'm wrong? What if I'm right?
Well, and it goes it goes back to what we were talking originally, right? It's about security. It actually is trust, really.
Yes.
I mean, as much as it's security, and security is more of like I want to say a human term, but life term.
It's a human concept, for sure. For sure. I actually have a note on my phone where I started writing, like, what if I'm right when it comes to my purpose? Specifically around my book right now. What if I'm right? And this can become everything it's meant to become. And also, what if I'm wrong? And when it comes to security, I feel like so many of us hold ourselves back on those dreams until we can prove that this is going to absolutely be that right path to take.
Until you get some sort of affirmation or whatever, right? Some proof to say, oh, look, you are doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Instead of just trusting that you're doing the right thing. And it is, again, I agree. It is so hard to go, man, this is really what I'm supposed to be doing?
Yeah. Like, imagine like Noah with the ark. Do you know what I mean? He gets this message from God. Build an ark or a big boat and collect animals 2 by 2 and put them on this boat because there's going to be a flood. And I think it's like 40 years or something like that he's
40
building
days, 40
this.
nights or something like that. Or whatever,
It rained for 40 days and 40 nights while he was on the ship. But it's like he's building it for years because of this big flood. And everyone's like laughing at him. Like, dude, what are you doing? Like, we're in a drought right now. Why are you building a ship for a flood? This doesn't make sense. But he trusted that inner knowing, that inner calling. Yeah. And I think I struggle with that at times. Like when people question me on what I'm doing, then I do waver. Do you know what I mean? And I know that's where my security or my non-trust comes through, because it's like, well, if you can't see it, am I right? Yeah. Or am I wrong?
Yeah, I don't. When I know, and the knowing. Yeah. You know, right? Yeah. It's hard to, like, when you know something, or if you've had a voice or something that's come to you, you know that you need to follow that. There's no other, like, I don't care what anybody else thinks at that point. It is, you're not them, you're not me, and I know what I experienced. I know what I'm experiencing in my body, and the knowing is the guide.
And see, it's interesting because I can have the knowings and still completely doubt that the knowing is accurate.
Oh, the ego is strong with this one.
It totally is. And it's so funny because I've proven to myself, we were just talking about this last night. Yep. I've proven to myself so many times, like, my intuition is on point. Yep. My knowings are on point.
Well, I've often said to you, why do you question? Yeah, but you question your own abilities, your own self. Yeah. When it's proved time and time again, and it's at some point.
I know, and then I go, see, I was right.
You have to go, okay, this just is.
Yes.
And that's okay.
But it's when I receive that resistance from others. And I think a lot of women go through this where they have these knowings or they have these feelings or these intuitions that are coming up, and they're like, I feel this, and there's no proof of it here in the world, and so we doubt ourselves. And a lot of times we're told, no, you're wrong. Yeah. No, women can't do that. No, you're not allowed to do that. Or, no, that's not what's happening in the relationship right now. And that's my man voice coming through. Because I know so many women, and we've experienced this in our relationship as well, where I'm like, there's something off. And you're going, no, there's not. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. And I'm going, no, there's something off. And then it turns out there's something off.
Yeah.
But it's things like that make me doubt it, because I feel like I'm constantly feeling everything, so it makes it harder to trust this knowing. And especially, like, I think as women, because we're told, sorry, am I talking too much? But as women, because we're told, essentially that, yeah, we are feeling too much, we're talking too much, we're sharing too much, we're tuning into too much, we're making too big of a deal out of things. It's always like this kind of two presentation that we receive. So we question ourselves, and we are feeling things that aren't necessarily in the material world right now, but we still pick up on them. And
and I think when it comes to I really do think the ego plays a big piece in that, where it is the knowing doesn't involve the ego, and the ego needs to get involved. So the ego will start raising doubt to go, well, yeah, what if you are wrong? Mm-hmm. Nothing. That's what, on the other side of that, like, okay, divinity comes in and goes, okay, if you're wrong, so what?
Yeah.
The ego goes, no, if you're wrong,
yes,
you're going to do this, or you're going to get whatever.
Yeah.
You're going to get hurt, or you're going to die, or you're going to, and, divinity comes in and goes, so what? Then, like...
And that's that trust in the divinity again, right? Like, it even if you are wrong, that it's okay.
Yeah. But the ego will always be there to challenge it. The ego will always come in to go, yeah, but...
Yeah. And I think that's where it's important to kind of, like, when we used to listen to Kyle Cease, and he talked about, like, doing the list of 100 possibilities and stuff. So your ego's starting to look at what are other possibilities that I can take care of and whatever.
Yeah.
Because the ego wants to be busy. And so I guess in those knowings, when you've got the knowings coming up, I guess perhaps, maybe it's something I can give a try, is to go, okay, ego, these are your duties. This is what I need to assign you with. These are the things you're doubting, or these are the things you're questioning. So figure out the answer to that. So if that's going to happen, what are we going to do?
Yep. And I kind of look at it in a similar way, where it's like, okay, this is my goal. This is my path. This is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Ego, this is your part. You get to be like the voice at this point in time in this scenario.
Yeah.
You get to, push me forward with this, or you get to pull me back with this. But this is still the path.
Yeah. Yeah.
You get to play a character. You get to play all the characters that you want.
Yeah.
But we still have to do this together.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's so important too, like when you're building in that trust for yourself, and I guess in relationships too, it's about like showing up consistently for yourself. So if you say, okay, this is what I'm going to do, I'm going to publish this book. Well, that moment that you're like afraid to say publish the book or upset anybody or whatever it might be, it's like that's the moment to just that's the hub that you have to overcome.
Yeah.
I had a client earlier this week that she was saying she just doesn't trust in herself anymore, because of she hasn't been able to actually stick through with her commitments, is essentially what it came down to. And what was coming through in her reading was essentially that she had to start showing up for herself. Like, if you sign up for this thing, you're going to do this thing, because otherwise, how do you build that trust in yourself?
Yeah.
And I feel like it's the same in relationships too. That's where the trust starts to break down, is if I say to you, we're going to have a date night every Friday night, and then we do 2 Friday night date nights, and then the third one I'm like, sorry, I've got plans. And then the fourth one, I'm like, well, we didn't do it last week. Let's just stay at home.
Similar to us doing our podcast, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, we are committed to doing this, but there was points where it was like hit or miss, or, we'll just wait. And now we're pretty good about regimented and committed to it.
Well, because we were so concerned about what is the topic going to be and what can we share.
How do things look, and how are we looking properly at the camera? Are we getting people involved?
It was about the camera.
And really, all we needed to do was sit down and do this, right? And
yeah, which essentially this is like this to me, us facing each other instead of the camera. It feels so much more like our man cave conversations instead of like a podcast kind of thing. Like I just feel like I'm talking to you, and that's that whole ego piece of before it was performance, and now I get to just be with you and just talk. Yeah. So, but I think that's also a part of that. Trust was eye contact. And you were actually the one who pointed that out the one day, because I had said to you, like, I don't know why this just feels off.
Yeah, what's the disconnect? What's the difference between we can talk so fluidly when we're out in the man cave and we're just sitting there having coffee and whatnot.
Yeah.
But then we get on camera and
we're suddenly like robotic. Like
it's a performance.
And we kept saying, like, we're going to shift it. We're going to change it. And it really we thought we had to change, I think, in the way we were showing up. And really it was just shifting our chairs to face each other. Yeah.
It's little adjustments, folks.
Yeah.
Little adjustments.
Which is so funny because eye contact is so important to me. And it was just way over my head when we were just looking at the camera. So, but eye contact, I feel like also helps to build that trust.
Yeah.
And it helps you to know this person is listening to me, they're engaged with me, and all that sort of stuff. So,
how does that saying go? That the eyes are the windows to the soul. So, I mean, it is important to have eye contact, and it's important, especially when I think conversations like we have, and like we're having right now, where you're talking about things that are, they're really deep inside.
Yeah.
They do affect everybody, whether everybody wants to see that or not.
Yeah.
You need to have that eye contact. You need to have that oneness.
I guess it's the witnessing, right?
Yeah.
Right. It's witnessing your soul through your eyes as we have these conversations. And then you get to see like what kind of lights you up and what makes your eyes flicker over this way or that way. Yeah. So I'm going to ask you a question now.
Ooh. Yeah. Question and answer period.
So my question is, when have you been most challenged to exercise your trust? Or like what was a life situation where...
Oh, there's been plenty.
I know.
The most challenging? I don't know. I guess simply put, I would be to continue.
Okay.
To go on, right? Like, I would say that's probably the biggest one. That there's more, and all of this stuff is just right now. Like tomorrow's a different day. There's more to this story. There's so much more that is to be experienced and needs to be witnessed.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say just that was trusting that everything will be okay. Trusting and just not giving up, but taking your hands off the wheel.
Yeah,
right?
That's surrendering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And going, okay, I've tried doing it my way. I tried, this, that, and then just taking a step back, going, okay, I don't need to force anything.
Yeah.
It is just going to happen the way it needs to happen.
Yeah. And then when you were surrendering, did it feel like you were giving up?
No, it felt better because it was like, it's awkward.
Yeah.
Because there's parts of your ego that want to hold those reins so tight that you have to have control, that you have to make things happen the way they need to happen because this is how it's supposed to be. But once you surrender to that and let go of it, it is it's more free.
Yeah.
And I try to tell people this quite often. It's like just let it happen.
Yeah.
It sounds terrible, but bad things and good things happen.
Yeah.
And that's just a position that we put on the things, that they're good or bad. There's things that are going to be that we don't care for or whatever, however you want to label it.
Yeah.
But they're going to happen no matter what.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I think I struggled a lot with the whole idea of surrender, because surrender in my mind just showed up as you're giving up.
Yeah.
Right? Where it's really not giving up. It's the opposite of giving up. It's like, it's literally leaning into that trust and going, I know you've got me.
Yeah.
And I've tried all of my little human plans that are based only on the experiences that I've had, based on the knowledge that I have. Meanwhile, there's like this whole infinite universe available of knowledge and plans and ideas and people that I don't even know exist yet, that when I surrender, that all becomes available to me.
Yeah.
But I had a really hard time with that. Like, surrendering terrified me.
Yeah.
But I think for a lot of us too, if we've grown up in situations where perhaps we couldn't trust the adults in our lives or authority in our lives or society around us, if there was things that kind of broke our trust in being taken care of, I think that adds to that idea of I need to hold on to and I need to control what's happening out here.
I mean, many people are brought up with, this is how life is supposed to look.
Yes.
So then this is where the controls start to form, where it's like, okay, by this age you have to be married and you have to have this kind of job and you have to have a house and you have to have this,
Yeah.
So then you start holding on to these things, right? Like, no, I have to do this because this is what I've been told life is about.
Yeah.
And when that stuff like that starts to fall away, because of whatever situations, you realize that you once you start losing that control or surrendering, it's more freeing than trying to force it. I'm not saying don't live your life. I'm not saying don't try to, be a good human and follow your path and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Absolutely. But you don't have to hold on to those reins, that it absolutely has to be a certain way. It's going to look how it's going to look.
Yeah.
You could try, and sometimes you'll hit that bullseye.
Yeah.
But sometimes you won't. And you got to just be okay with that too.
Absolutely. I feel like there's a lot of younger people in the world right now that were semi brought up in this world or this idea that they would have a house by this age and that they would have these secure jobs, and you go to school, you get an education, and then you're guaranteed employment and all of that. And because so much has shifted over just like the past 5 years, our young adult children are, living in a world that did not exist when we were young adults.
No.
Do you know what I mean? So I think that idea of security for them, and the idea of even surrendering for them has become more of a struggle than what we faced when we were younger. Not that they can't surrender, but the ideas of what was supposed to make them secure. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. If I go to university and I get this 5-year degree or whatever, I'm guaranteed a job.
Yeah.
And it's like, at McDonald's.
Yeah.
For part-time, minimum wage, and you're going to actually have to get 3 more jobs beyond that to afford your apartment with your 6 roommates.
Yeah.
Like it's just, it's interesting. But I also believe that in itself can become a limitation if you're buying into...
Well, it can become a limitation or an invitation, right?
Yes. And you get to choose. Free will.
Well, I mean, yes, we had a plan, or we were brought up with a plan that this is how life was going to be.
Yeah.
And, to a certain degree, so were they. And we couldn't see or didn't think that life was going to be this way.
Yeah.
Like, did we think things were going to change so much in the world that
Christ, even 6 years ago. Yeah, no.
That people wouldn't be able to afford living or an apartment. No.
Yeah.
But that's almost too an invitation to go, okay, well, then not to say I'm not going to bother trying, but okay, what
I think it's...
What does this look like? And
yeah. And it's how can we get more creative if we can't bring in... That to me is the surrendering. It's like, okay, so I'm going to surrender this to God. And how can we become more creative? How can we express more? What can we expand in more? Yeah. What can we let go of?
Well, I think that's why you see the younger generation being more out of the box thinkers and doing things differently, because it's like, okay, you guys had this plan, it didn't work, it's not the way it was.
Yeah.
I'm not going to buy into this. I'm going to try something else.
Yeah.
Right? So they're actually following the knowing.
Yeah.
That they have inside of them, which is part of that trust as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I never actually thought of it so much before about like this younger generation and all of the out of the box thinking that they're having and stuff, and the creative ways that they're expressing themselves and the things that they're creating out of nothing. And yeah, I guess it is that tapping into that inner knowing.
7.
Yes. So
yeah, some of the things I'm like, okay, I'm not here for this, or I'm just
yeah, okay, no, you just check out. You're like, okay, 6, 7, but I'm checking out.
I support you 100%. You follow whatever that is. Sure.
Yeah.
Go.
Yeah. Where I try and keep up with it because I know it's like it helps me to stay in a conversation about it, right? Like, so I try and keep up with some of those trends or whatever, but I don't understand them half the time. That's the problem. And that's where I need to ask them questions, or I have other adults who are asking the questions and filling me in on the information.
I mean, some of the things I do get interested in, and it's not everything, but there's other things from like, I can't. I just, no.
Yeah. Well, and I think just to bring it back to this whole idea of like surrendering and trusting and stuff, I think for a lot of parents, when we've got our kids that are like, 6, 7 or whatever, and we're kind of going, is this kid going to turn out to be okay? Yeah. And especially as they're going through like the teenage years and stuff like that, like there's a lot of questions of, how are they going to be as adults and whatnot? And yet we do have to surrender in those moments to trust that everything that we've given to our children is going to help them become these adults, even as they're making all these choices and doing 6, 7 type.
Well, it's an example. Stuff. We think that we have such power over our children that how you were raised.
Yeah.
Or how we raised our children means how they're going to turn out. They are entities, beings of light of this world.
Yeah.
That are influenced, yes, by us, but they're not controlled by us.
Yes.
And here we think they have to be a certain way.
Yeah.
Or they're not going to be successful, or they're not going to be this, and that is just an illusion, right?
Absolutely. Yes.
But and I know we've done it, and I know plenty of parents do it, that my kids have to be this way, behave this way, look at this, blah, blah, blah,
well,
blah.
You worry about that as a parent, right? Because
but it goes back to this trust piece that the universe will guide them to where they need to be.
Absolutely, because I often, like on social media and stuff, because I'm in different mom groups and whatnot, and a lot of times there, will be a group of rowdy kids or whatever, and some mom gets on and she posts about these kids these days, that are doing whatever these kids are doing.
Yeah.
And then there's always at least one comment where someone's going, it makes you wonder where the parents are, right? And it's something that kind of drives me nuts, but then at other times I'm also the one that's like repeating that, because kids will do what kids will do, people will be the way people will be. And I think we all, when we were teenagers, you get a group of kids together, and I think perhaps more so with boys than girls, but there's like this kind of let me prove myself to you, and let me show you how cool I am and whatnot. And so it's like the prefrontal cortex of the brain is just gone, right? And it's the crazier stuff you can do, the better off you are for your friends. And then, of course, us adults watch it and we go, well, where are their parents?
Yeah.
You know, well, yeah.
And
The parents are believing that I've raised good kids and they're just out doing these things. Yeah.
and don't get me wrong, we do have influence. We have
Yeah.
influence over our children, over our families, over our friends.
Yeah.
But there is another entity at play, right? There is that guide, and it's another thing that we hold tight to as just as a society, as humans, is that we have this control over our children, and this is how they have to be, and we don't trust that we got here.
Yeah.
We're doing this whole family history thing. There's some pretty decent odds that
That if this.
slim odds that this could be the way it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it is, and something made it this way.
Yeah.
Those slim odds came true.
Yeah.
So there, again, it just goes back to that trust piece. If this can happen, anything is possible.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. But I think, doubt is such a tricky thing because it moves. It's almost like a ghost that just moves in and nobody's even aware that it's there, because the doubt sometimes actually feels like it's absolute truth.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And so it makes it that much more difficult to know that the doubt is actually the illusion.
Well, again, I think that piece goes back to the ego struggling for that control, where it's like, well, if you let go of this, where am I?
Yeah.
And it's really having that conversation. Your inner conversation with it. You still have a place, ego.
Yeah.
It's just a little bit different. We're not gonna try to force everything to be.
Yeah.
We're just gonna flow in the water of it, and we'll direct, we'll do what we need to do.
Yeah.
But we're gonna trust that this path leads us where we need to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's so hard when it comes to kids. It's like, I'm saying this about me, but then transcend that to the children. It's like, well, I don't know. You can trust it for yourself, but you can't trust it,
Yeah. 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 Well, it is interesting, but I think when we were having a conversation with one of our kids yesterday, and in that conversation, he was really reflecting to us some of his core values that he's met some challenges with recently, with just dealing with some other people, and it not feeling so good for him because it's rubbing up against some of his core values. And I think as a parent, it's in those moments when you realize, oh, these are your core values.
Yeah.
I know I tried to instill these in you, but the fact that this is what's coming up now.
It goes back to those affirmations, right? It goes back to affirming we did something right. But we were it goes back to trust.
Yeah.
It's affirming us, we did something right. We didn't do anything. We followed our instincts.
Yes.
As a good human.
Yes.
To try and be an example for our children.
Yes.
They picked up on that.
Yeah.
That is nothing, we didn't create that. We just followed it.
Yeah.
Right? And goes back to that trust of in the universe, in God, in the path.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's all about trust.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very, very interesting though that there was so many things, and I always take this, and I'm sure that plenty of people that experience this, where you have all of these things that come up that have the same undertone, right? And it, to me, and I've said this to you, it's more like a poke, where it's like, okay, there's something you need to be aware of, not necessarily act on it. Because I know we both were like, okay, what do we, you're kind of looking around. What
are we supposed to do with this?
What is this telling me to do? And more, I'm like, okay, it's just an awareness. It's just okay. Because you can try to look for all of those things. You can try to, lock up your house and make it all secure and this and whatnot. But does that mean you're secure?
Well, and that's really what it came down.
Here,
Yeah,
right?
Yes.
It's still in here that it's
Yes.
like, no, because now everything's secure. What did I leave? And I think when you have these moments where all of these things come up, it's more of like, hey, you need to have an awareness.
Yeah.
Not that it's a good, bad paradigm. Just an awareness.
Yeah. I don't remember who the speaker was, but they were saying like a lot of times the more money people have, the more fearful and insecure they feel, because now if they lose this large amount of money, then it's like it's more dangerous, or they've got more for people to steal. So like you get these bigger locks on your house, or maybe you get like a gated property, and maybe you get your own security guard or whatever it might be. And it's like, isn't it interesting that we would be more afraid the more secure we actually get, financially speaking, that we would become more afraid of losing that financial security that's supposed to be like the thing we're all supposed to go after.
Yeah.
You know?
And I think that kind of goes to the fact that all of the basis, there's no trust in that basis.
Yeah.
Right? So you gain this stuff and you want to keep it safe.
Yeah.
You're not trusting your society. You're not trusting the universe.
Yeah.
And the more you get, the more paranoid you get that somebody's going to take it. Well, you start to lose more and more trust.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying everybody, because I know that there's philanthropists out there that give money away and are just like, whatever, you know what? I just did this, and I know that, fruits of my labor will come back no matter what. It's just, I'm not here for that.
Yeah.
There's people 100% like that.
Yeah.
But there's more people that are wanting to hold on to that, whatever it is.
Well, yeah.
So tight, where, it's just that absence of trusting that regardless, if you lose that, things will still be okay.
Yeah. Well, I think that's where some of the identity comes from, what I have or what I've secured in my life. That, like, look at me, I'm doing well because I've got this stuff, but this stuff is just stuff, right? And it really does become an inside job. I've been reading A Course in Miracles, and one of the things that I was reading about was like, that which is real cannot be taken, right? And everything that can be taken is not real. And so we could look at that as like, the external stuff. Someone could take these books. Well, it doesn't matter. These books aren't real. But what I thought was really interesting about it was like, you can say, I lost my innocence. I lost my trust in myself. That these things have been taken from me because of this experience or that experience or whatever it might be. But if that which is real cannot be lost, then your innocence can never actually be gone. Yeah. Right? And so what I realized for myself, what I had done was it was almost like I took my innocence and I tucked it so deeply inside of me that I pretended it wasn't there anymore. Mm-hmm. So I hid it from myself, which meant no one else could take it from me because I had the experience of someone taking it from me or believed that someone took it from me. Do you know what I mean? And then it's like, that never actually had to be hidden away. No one can actually take this away. This is just mine. And here lies that
paradigm of, and I don't know any other way to say it, but it's the real world versus the divine world, right? It's that this belief that we've been handed down through generations, again, not good, bad, or indifferent, just this is this versus what is actual.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard. It's a hard thing to like say. It's between these two things, but it is. It's like, okay, all of this is just this. Nothing. Nobody can take away your soul.
Exactly. Exactly. But it feels sometimes like they've shattered my soul. They devastated me. And it feels like it, but just because it feels like it doesn't actually make it the truth.
Yeah.
And I think so many of us, and excuse my language here, but I think so many of us get butt hurt by like what has happened to us, right? And we then kind of over-identify with what has happened to us. And we go, this this is why I can't, follow my dreams, or this is why I can't have a healthy relationship, or this is why I can't have a good connection with my body, or whatever it might be, because of all of these things. Instead of going, oh, none of that. Yeah, that was my experience, but it's not who I am.
Yeah.
My soul is, this radiant thing inside of me.
Yeah, and it goes to that victim mentality, right?
Yes.
Where it's like everything is bad, nothing is bad or good, nothing is bad or good.
Well,
they're just events. It's just life playing out.
Yeah. It's so interesting because with the whole victim mentality, I think a lot of people think, I don't play the victim. This is just what happened to me. I'm not the victim or whatever. But what I've been noticing recently is like how quickly, it's kind of like the doubt just sneaking in, how quickly that victim mentality can just sneak in, and it just takes over of like this kind of victim consciousness of there's nothing I can do about this.
Yeah.
Right? And which when you surrender, it's like, I'm not going to do anything about this. I'm going to allow myself to just follow whatever the path is here. But it's not from a victimhood kind of standpoint, right?
And that's one thing I wanted to say was, don't get us wrong. We've both been the victim. We've both played the victim. We've both seen good and bad. We still have these experiences.
Yeah.
What's different now more so is that we can dissipate those things quicker, because it's really just a moment, step back. Is this good or bad?
Yeah.
Well, Am I really the victim?
I think now we can call each other out, right?
Yeah.
Lovingly. But it's like, I'm not going to allow you to stay in like a victim mentality, and you're not going to allow me to stay in a victim mentality. And sometimes I want you to. Sometimes I'm like, please just let me play the victim right now. Like, oh, woe is me. But
no, I've seen those things before, but it is very interesting that I can notice that you want to be the victim.
Yeah.
But then we start talking and you're like, no, I'm not. Like that whole wanting to even dissipates quickly, and it's just like, no, I'm not buying into that. That's just
it's all BS, right? But it's so difficult. So here we sit with having this knowing, right, of the fact that we can go into victimhood, knowing that the ego can take over and whatnot. And so if you're someone who's listening, I would suggest really asking yourself, have you accidentally allowed yourself to be a victim? Or are you taking that ownership over your life to go, it doesn't matter what's happened to me. This is what I'm going to become. It doesn't even matter what's happening right now. This is what I'm going to do.
Yeah. And along with what you said, I would question, do you not trust in the universe or in God or in something, or believe in something? If you're staying in that victimized or victim mentality, there's a lack of something. There's a lack of trust there because it's pointing that bad things are always happening to you. Well, now you've got that position of good and bad, but things are always happening to everybody.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's how we receive whatever's happening to us, right? Because we can always go, and I go back to that one meme I seen years ago where it's like the Chinese word for crisis also is the word for opportunity, right? So everything that happens to us, we can think of that Chinese symbol to go, this is either a crisis or it's an opportunity. And we get to choose, am I going to go the victim path, or am I going to use this in my way to some benefit? And I think like when you're talking about, we make it good or bad, that's exactly what determines whether or not it's a crisis or an opportunity.
Yeah, it's the same paradigm, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you can use victim, hero, good, bad. You could use whatever you want. They're all just different ways to label preference.
Yes. And that's just it, right? Like Bashar talks a lot about like, is this your preferred reality? Yeah. And if it's not what you prefer, then why do you keep choosing what you don't prefer?
Yeah. Well, that's another thing. I like Bashar, and they're, David Hawkins, and I think those two would have a great conversation, because it's like if this isn't your preferred reality, again, why are you choosing
Yeah.
to participate in this reality?
And the victim in that moment would go, I'm not choosing this. This is what's happening to me, in case you wonder.
So that would be Bashar. Then David Hawkins would come in and be like, well, if you had a gun pointed at your head, you would do it differently. But you choose to keep continuing to do it the same way, so you must like the way things are happening.
Yeah.
Because if you're faced with that, your mortality,
you would choose different.
You would choose not to do the things that you don't like.
Yeah.
But you continue to do the things you don't like to stay as a victim or to proclaim that you're a victim.
Yeah.
Which is like, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. The moment that you have to absolutely choose between life or death, to choose differently from what you don't prefer, it's a split second.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which goes back to the trust.
Yes.
Back to security. And yeah, it's...
And I think it's important to recognize that, like, trusting in the unknown, it can be difficult.
Oh.
You're literally trusting in something that no one can see yet. Yeah. You know, maybe you're trusting in yourself and no one else understands, or maybe you're trusting in a vision that you have or something that you're wanting to create that nobody else can see. And it can be so difficult to believe in that. But if you can't believe in that for yourself, that's all it takes. And what is it? They say that you just need faith the size of a mustard seed to be able to move mountains. And that's so minuscule in order to be able to shift big challenges. But just having that little bit of faith, trust.
Yeah. And I think we've said that a number of different times, right? It's just believe in something. Yeah. Trust in whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, it's interesting when you say believe in something. I'm like, but don't believe in the bad things. Like, don't believe like, oh yeah, I know for sure that this is the bad thing that's going to happen to me if I do this. You know, because like the ego can make you believe in these things that aren't going to support you. Believe in the thing, whatever that might be, that you're trying to create a future version of yourself, I guess.
Yeah. Well, trust that there's a guiding light, right? Trust. I'm not saying that good and bad things are going to happen. That's just a preference. There's a guiding light, spirit, God, universe, whatever you want to call it. In my thoughts and in my mind, that is guiding you along that way.
Yeah.
It's only your preference, good or bad. They're not good or bad things. It's your preference of which is.
Yeah.
That light is going to take you on those journeys.
Yeah.
It might be a journey that you don't prefer. It might be bad. But there's something you're getting out of it because that light is guiding you towards something. Mm-hmm. Well, and it may be that you just need to see this because this is the bottom.
Yeah.
Or this is a non-preferred reality, just maybe a glimpse of a non-preferred reality that you could slip into if you make these choices.
Mm. Yeah.
But just there is something that's always guiding or driving us.
Yeah. Well, and I always find it interesting too that, like, even sometimes when we go through non-preferred experiences, or things that we label as like good or bad, specifically like with those bad situations, I know I have to do the quotes because I'm like, it's not really good or bad. It's just some things make us feel really, really uncomfortable or really, really heavy. But even in those moments, I feel like it's a refining moment, right? Like where maybe you get to be sculpted a little bit differently, or maybe you're building your strength, or maybe you're finding your voice, or maybe you're letting your heart shatter so that you can discover more of your light or whatever. But in those moments, it doesn't feel like that, right? And it can be hard to understand that there's good in this uncomfortability.
No, I agree. It's I don't say this to everybody. It's not comfortable.
No.
And it, as much as I say there's not good or bad,
but
it goes back to that preferred or non-preferred.
Yeah.
You know, we've had moments, we've had things that come up that are not, so maybe not communicating or not something right where we're butting heads.
Yeah.
And it doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
Feels like we're disconnected. Feels like maybe we're angry at
when
each
you're
other.
looking at me like that.
Well, I'm just like trying to.
Yeah, I know.
And then we start talking about it.
Yeah.
And we start talking things through. And it starts to dissipate. It's like, okay, you start to understand.
Yeah.
Okay, as bad as this was, or as bad as this felt, this good came out of it.
Yes.
Like this
Exactly.
understanding, this moment.
Well, and you start to feel more deeply connected after getting through that kind of uncomfortable stuff. You start to feel more connected. You feel more seen, more heard, more understood.
Yeah.
But it's okay to feel uncomfortable. It's, you do, or you have done a lot of like working out and stuff. And it's always like that 10th push-up. It's going to feel the most uncomfortable. And what I find in life is a lot of people get to that kind of 10th push-up moment. And that's when they want to give up. Because it's like, oh, I've just got no strength left. I just can't do this. And it's like, you've got it. Yeah, you're tired. Same with the marathon, that last 1 kilometer or whatever is going to be the hardest kilometer. And actually, when I walked the Camino, the first kilometer of the day and the last kilometer of the day were longer than any of the other 20 kilometers in between, like all combined. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, I do think that in life we need to have those pieces, right? You need to have, I don't want to say struggles, but like...
challenges.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
I think we, generally as a society, we don't. We play it safe. Yeah, when it comes to working out and stuff like that, and people, they push it. But I'm not saying people don't do this at all. I'm just saying from a normal life every day, we don't do this every day.
Oh,
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think there needs to, you need to have that balance. You need to have that peace that's in there. And,
absolutely.
You look at our ancestors or whatever that farmed the land, and this is what they did every day, and we look at it and go, oh, man, that would be too much work.
Yeah.
But they were happy to do these things.
Yeah.
Probably not all the time, but
well, for a lot of them too, they weren't working in a corporate business, and
no.
The way it was typically was the man and the boys were out in the field and they were working with the animals and stuff, and the women and the girls were inside the house cooking the food or preparing the food or whatnot. And there wasn't all of this kind of outside noise and distraction. Yeah.
What I was going to say is that I think that's why we struggle with adversity now. It's because we don't have it as much in our everyday life as once used to be. So when we're faced with these things, even if it's small, it's like, it's a big deal. And it's like, well...
See, that's interesting, because I had a different take on that as to why we couldn't deal with the adversity, which also actually connects in with the ancestors. Because I'm like, they didn't really have the idea of building their mental health or building their emotional intelligence, right? Everything was swept under the carpet. We don't talk about it. We pretend it doesn't exist. And then it gets passed down through the generations. And I feel like this generation, us, our kids, grandchildren, they're the first ones who are actually coming into an awareness of emotional intelligence and mental health awareness. So we're feeling it all.
But if we go back farther and farther and farther than that, there was more enlightened people overcoming adversities.
Yeah.
That's where we kind of lost pieces, right? It was like we got to a point in...
Well, there was a few different points, right? Like, if you believe in Atlantis, they got to like this highest kind of place. Egyptians, they also got to this kind of highest place of enlightenment. And now I feel like we're trying to work our ways back there.
Yeah, I agree.
But then it's interesting because I don't know if they back then actually talked about mental health and emotional awareness and generational trauma.
We have new terms for it, but I assume that they had similar discussions of enlightenment, of finding, which we would now have called something else. But
okay, because like when I have looked into like the Egyptians and whatnot, I know that they talked a lot about like consciousness. I know that they talked a lot about like accessing, and using astrology and all of that sort of stuff to help with the awareness and to break things down for people and stuff.
Yeah.
But I've never actually seen them talking. Not that I've done, like, I'm not a huge researcher into it. So perhaps if let me know. I haven't seen anything about like doing generational kind of healing or the family lineages or anything like that, mental health or anything. But I know that they had people who were selected to go into the certain schools and to learn the mysteries and stuff.
Yeah.
So perhaps that was in those mystery schools and we just don't have access to that information that they had.
Yeah, and I think they had more of a trust in...
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. A trust in the unknown, a trust in all of the gods and goddesses. Yeah. And yeah. Well, it's so funny too, like, we think that we're like so educated, right? Which we are fairly educated. And I mean people as in general, not just you and I. We're so educated. But it's like the education system has only really been around for like 150 years for public access. Yeah. Right? And in some of the school systems, we're still teaching things that we were teaching 50 years ago and we haven't like updated it.
That we know are wrong now.
Yes, but we're not going to update the textbooks and stuff like that. So it's so interesting that we continue to teach these same kind of things to our children and we ourselves learned them and whatnot. But we haven't updated things to be like, this is the time that we're living in now.
Yeah.
So
that's very...
I kind of wish that they started like those ancient wisdom schools again, but like perhaps like the way we're doing it now is actually the updated version of it, right? Where you take an online class and it's like, that's the mystery school that you're attending. It feels like it would be so much more exciting. It's more preferred to me to like go into
a class with people and...
Well, a pyramid.
Yeah.
With people and like put hieroglyphs onto a wall and pull out ancient scrolls and read them through. Like that just sounds that much more exciting than I'm just gonna hop into my office and hop online and clue into that. So yeah,
I agree.
Yeah. So anyways, security.
And trust, right? I mean, security, trust, same thing, however you want to look at it. But yeah, be mindful of those things. If you're seeing patterns, I mean, we're very big on, being aware of patterns when we see things come up. Sometimes we call them breadcrumbs, sometimes we call them, other things, but similar, where it's like, okay, there's something that I need to be aware of. You don't need to get into paranoia and start searching around for things. Just, it's an awareness. Just have that heightened sense of, okay, there's something I need to be alert about here.
Well, and I think the way we were doing it on Tuesday, I think it was Tuesday, was simply, I have this feeling that's coming up. I think it might be connected to this. But there was also like a local news story that I was also very kind of like invested in. Mm-hmm. There was a thing that happened with Louvre that I was interested in. You were more interested in the AWS stuff. Yeah. And then there was some things happening with people at your workplace. Yeah. There were some things happening with people in my life. And so we're just having regular conversation and bringing these different elements into the conversation, not even realizing that there was a connection.
Yeah. It's almost like verbal brainstorming, right? Or like a bubble wall or whatever. We were just kind of throwing all of these things out.
But
these
again,
are the events. Yeah. And then it wasn't until we like got to the very end of throwing all this stuff out here that it was like, oh,
this is what it's all about.
Yeah.
Yeah. But remember that like kid song, one of these things is not like the other, or whatever? It's kind of like that, but the reverse, where it's like all of these things are just like each other. Yeah. And yeah, it just didn't seem like they were related at all until I think we were laying in bed, and then it was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Boom, this is what it all is. So, yeah. Anyways, as always, thank you so much for joining us here today. And We look forward to connecting with you guys again next week, right here on the Sacred Exchange. If you guys have any ideas for topics that you would like to hear about,
or if you want to participate in possibly an interview, or you could come in and sit with us and have a chat with us as well.
Yeah, we're always looking for, I guess, new ways to just connect with people and
Absolutely.
pull you into the conversation. So if any of that kind of resonates with you, feel free to reach out, info@compassionwithcatherine.com, or find us on Facebook, Catherine Graham, Compassion with Catherine, or on TikTok, Compassion with Catherine, or on Instagram, Compassion with Catherine.
And a little drop, you should mention you're a little group 7. That's not such a little group, just to put it out there. You can also find Catherine on group 7. If you don't know what that is, you're not the only person because neither do I.
I still don't. This
just
is
a shout out to all the group 7 people out there.
Well, to talk about, like, talking about trust, right? We'll just finish it off with little Miss Sophia James, who last weekend, this woman on TikTok named Sophia James, she is an indie music artist, and she has been trying to get her music out there for a very, very long time. And she wrote this song called So Unfair. Find it on Spotify. It's a great song. And she heard that it's quantity over quality for the videos on TikTok to finally make herself go viral. So what she did was she uploaded her song using a video for group 1, group 2, and I think for like the first 3 videos, she didn't label them as a group. And then on the 4th video, she's like, all right, this is video 4, so you're group 4. This is video 5, you're group 5. This is video 6, you're group 6. This is video 7, you're group 7. And if it showed up on your For You page, then you were part of like these groups. She went to bed, and the next morning her entire phone was blowing up because group 7, which I got put into, became like this whole viral thing. And there's like 2 million people in group 7, and now on TikTok everybody's just kind of like, they're connecting with each other, and it's kind of like become a movement. So anyways, yeah, I'm in group 7, and I've actually started posting consistently on TikTok, which I hadn't been doing. And it's a really cool energy to be in. So
I think it's great. I'm not making fun of it. I'm actually trying to promote
it.
Your group, whatever it is.
It's just group 7, and essentially all it is just people finding each other with the hashtag group 7 or with a video group 7, and just in finding that, it's like, oh, you're group 7, I'm going to follow you, I'm going to comment on your stuff, I'm going to share your stuff, I'm going to support you.
Yeah,
and it's so awesome when humanity comes together like that, no matter if it's for group 7 or 6, 7 or whatever it might be. When people come together to support each other, I think that's awesome. So,
I agree.
Yeah. Anyways, join us next week for another conversation. And again, if you guys have any questions or you have any hot topics that you're like, I want to know more about this, by all means, reach out to us, and we would be happy to either get you onto the computer for a conversation that we record and upload, or you can just ask your question and we'll answer you as best as we can. Have a great day, and we'll chat soon.
Take care, folks.